Hi, everyone. Welcome to our workshop today, which is creating content with Canva for beginners. My name is Melissa Hersberg, and I am the instructional design librarian here at UA. Canva can be accessed online at canva.com, and it can also be downloaded to your PC or Mac and used as a desktop app, all for free. So in today's workshop, I'm going to go over some of the basic tools, functions, and features of using a free Canva account. Okay. To start with, let's just talk briefly about the different levels of membership with Canva. On the plans and pricing page, you can see the different levels of membership. The University of Alabama does not have an enterprise account, so at this time, your only option as an individual is to access the Canva using either the free account or by upgrading to the pro account. Now, there are lots of different things that you can do with the free account, and I highly recommend just starting with a free account to get used to the program and the platform. And then as you start using it more, you can make that determination if you feel like you need to bump up to the Canva Pro and pay the subscription fee of $120 per year. As we walk through the workshop today, I will go over some of the differences between the Canva Free and the Canva Pro, so you kind of get an idea of the difference between the two accounts. Okay, but everything today is going to focus really on the free account, so I won't be showing you things that you definitely would have to have a subscription for. Well, we're going to focus on the free. When we're on Canva, I'm going to come back to the home page here. When we're on Canva, the way that you distinguish whether something is part of the free account versus part of the pro account is this little crown icon right here. So if you look at a template or an image and it has the crown icon in the bottom right-hand corner, that's only going to be available for pro users and not available for free users. Okay. All right. So Canva at its core is a really robust graphic design program. It's also one that is simply really fairly simple to use once you understand how to navigate the design space. Canvas templates are really robust that they cover almost any type of project that you might want to create, from the basics like documents, presentations, and social media posts to Zoom backgrounds, labels, book covers. If you can dream it, Canva probably has a template that you can use for designing it. The list goes on and on. Some of the more popular types of the products are listed as shortcuts on the home page here. So if we look here, these are my shortcuts to some of the more popular types of content that people tend to create with Canva. Um, as you can see, Canva will organize its content by type. So here's my quick shortcuts. I'm going to come all the way over here to the more so you can really see all of the different options here. That popular ribbon at the top, common layouts and sizes, office and business, marketing and promotion, personal and event planning, photos and videos. And then you also have different categories along the left-hand side. And on the ribbons themselves, there are arrows over to the right here that you can scroll through to see more options for content type. In addition to organizing and trying to find things just by scrolling through the content types, you can simply use the search bar up here to type in exactly what you're looking for. So if I type something in like book cover, here are my different options for different kinds of book covers that I could go ahead and choose and start creating. So it is a very complete graphic design program with lots of different templates to use. All right, so another great feature um, that is with Canva, not only does it give me templates specific to what I'm trying to create, but it also gives me templates with correct sizing. So it will do the sizing for me. And that's really important if you're doing anything with social media because every social media app has different sizing requirements for their content. And if you don't size your content to those specifications, it will not appear correctly on that platform. So, like as you can see, there's different sizing requirements for an Instagram post and a different ratio than if you were doing a Facebook post. It's a different pixelation sizing here. And what I love about that is it does it for me. So if I click on Instagram post right here, this is the workspace that I have to work with, right? It's already correctly sized for me. Versus if I go back into social media here and click on an Instagram story, you'll notice right away the sizing is completely different, right? It's a much more narrow canvas that I'm working with. So I love that about the automatic sizing for everything that I'm creating. Even in the presentation mode, the sizing is going to default to 16 by 9, which is a standard presentation sizing, especially when you're doing anything that you are using a projector for within a classroom. You want that 16 by 9 sizing. All right, from there, I'm going to come back over here into more. You also have the option to do custom sizing. So if you have something very specific that you need to create, maybe it is a banner or a poster for a conference, and you know that it has to be a certain size, you can go ahead and input the requirements into Canva and choose pixels, inches, millimeters, or centimeters so that your design has the correct sizing for what you need it for. And with Canva, we are going to be looking at things that can be shared both digitally but also files that can be downloaded and sent off for professional printing. So again, you can create things that are maybe a flyer, a poster, brochures, things that you want to have professionally printed, create them in Canva, save them as a downloadable file, and then send that file over to University Printing Services to get it professionally printed out. So they work really well together, whether you're going to keep things just as a digital file to send out, or if you need to actually get a physical copy of it. There are lots of ways that you can go about doing that. All right. You also have the option to upload your own content. So I know a lot of us already have maybe PowerPoint or Google presentations that we've done, and maybe we just want to spruce them up, give them a more engaging layout or visuals, or maybe you're taking a flyer that you created last year for an event and you want to spruce it up for this year's event. You can take your current content and upload any of those types of files within Canva and then open them up within the Canva Design Studio and really transform them into something that is vibrant with different layouts and use all of the different Canva tools available. You can even do this with photographs. So there's some good photo editing options within Canva. If you have photographs, you can upload them or any kind of image and use the photo editing features to alter the photos or spruce them up in a very easy, simplistic design studio. You don't have to be a Photoshop expert in order to do some simple photo editing when you're using Canva. Okay, let's move now back to our home page and let's take a look at templates. So as we come along over here on the left-hand side, I have an option over here for templates. When I go over to templates and look at this section of Canva, Again, it's going to organize the templates by category and type of content. Um, you can scroll down a bit to see some suggested content. Now, a lot of the suggestions on this page are going to be very K-12 education focused, just because Canva does have a really robust partnership with K-12 schools, and a lot of K-12 teachers use this to design different lesson plans. And so don't let any of this turn you off of the product thinking that, oh, this is just going to be for elementary or high school students. There is tons of content here that's not K-12 related. So as you continue to scroll down, you can see some more of their featured content. And obviously, their featured content is going to focus on anything that is relevant to the calendar. So like this is where you're saying things about St. Patrick's Day or International Women's Day, which is coming up. It will also take your previous designs and use that information to give you other suggestions that are based off of things that you have selected and templates that you've used before. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go right into presentations to take a look at the presentation templates. As we look at our presentation templates, notice that I'm seeing 20,000 different templates here. It is incredible the amount of templates available. However, not all of these templates are going to be available to me because I don't have a pro account. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my filters right up here, and I'm going to come over here to price, and I'm simply going to do a filter of just show me the free templates because I don't want to start clicking on templates and then be denied access to them because they're pro. So I'm going to filter down to free. And when I say that the free account still has an incredible amount of content, I'm not lying. So even with just the free presentation templates, I'm looking at 10,000 templates. Plenty of content for me to explore and use for all of my different kinds of presentations that I might want to do. Now, the other features are the filters up here. We can look at our style. So here's where you can kind of think about what kind of audience might you be looking at presenting to, and what kind of style are you looking for? Are you looking for something really colorful? Are you looking for something that might be more, so I'll kind of scroll down so you can see how it changes here. So like colorful, these are more bright, kind of eye-catching types of presentation templates. Or maybe I want creative. So maybe I want something that has some unique fonts, more unique layouts that are considered more creative type layouts. Or maybe you want something that's more professional looking, right? Maybe I want something that's modern, professional, and corporate in nature. And you can kind of see how those have changed. And the types of presentations have changed here. So especially if I click on corporate, I'm going to get a lot of things like business plans, business projects, pitch decks, company reviews, business proposals, things like that. In addition to styles, I'm going to clear my styles here. In addition to style, I can also take a look at theme. And again, I can say like I want education, school, corporate, more of a darker theme, lighter theme, business, project, company. Now, again, with education, because we are in higher ed, we might be tempted to go, oh, I want the education ones. But again, keep in mind a lot of their education ones are going to be K-12 focused. Not all of them. As you can see, like this is a really great one for a thesis defense. So they're kind of mixed in, but just know that many of the education ones are going to be K-12. And you have to search a little bit more if you want something that has more of a higher ed feel to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and undo that. The feature filter, basically, if you know you want some animation within the template, you would click on animation. If you know you want video components to be in there, you can put in video, and same with audio files. Color, you can filter by like primary color. It's not a great filter, so then I clicked on yellow and I'm still kind of getting something like this, which just has a little bit of yellow. The thing about filtering by color is everything on Canva can be adapted and changed to what you need it to be. So I typically don't filter by color here because I know that no matter what I choose, I can change those colors of the template when I get into the design studio. I tend to take a look at things overall when I'm looking at the templates. I do take color into consideration, like is it more of a lighter colored template or a darker colored template, and I let that kind of sway me a little bit. But I don't get really caught up on I want it to have a blue background or I want it to have a green background because all of that is so easily changed within the design studio. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. So as you work down your options here, the other thing I want to say and kind of give you a warning about is that you can go down into the rabbit hole of Canva templates really, really easily. And what I mean by that is I used to start looking at templates and trying to find the perfect template. The perfect template probably doesn't exist. And if you start with that mindset of I need to find everything has to be perfect on the one that I choose, you'll spend way too much time going through and trying to decide which template to use. Instead, it's better to think about what your content is and really think about how you want that content laid out. Like, is this something where you need to have an agenda page? Is your content something where you need to have space for lots of pictures? Do you need to have a graph? Do you need to have your content laid out in maybe 3 columns or 2 columns? So you're looking at overall layouts, and that's really what you want to focus on. So I'm going to click on this one here just to get started. When I click on a template, it's going to give me the preview. Here's where I can take a look at what each slide layout looks like within this particular template. And so when I say that, all I'm looking at here is I'm trying to visualize my content with these layouts. The layouts, I can change the order of everything. I can change the colors. I can change the font. But it's really hard for me personally to make beautiful layouts like different columns and different background shapes and things like that. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, is the layout here conducive to the type of content that I want to share? If it's not, Canva will give you some other options that are similar to what you've chosen. So I might be like, oh, well, maybe this one might be what I'm looking for, right? And I can look through here and be like, oh, I kind of like how that's laid out better. And there's an image that I can work with. Oh, here's a timeline. I need that. And so I can go through any of these that are similar to try to find one that fits what I need. But for our case today, I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, this is my template, and I'm going to go ahead and customize the template. This is going to open us up into the design studio. All right, so now in the design studio, every part of the template that I just selected is going to appear down here. This is my current presentation, okay? Now, the thing about this is I can arrange these different slides however I want them. I can also delete them and add to them. So first and foremost, if I see something that I'm like, I definitely don't want this. Okay, I don't have any content that fits this particular layout. You can use the three dots on the slide to simply delete that particular page. Okay. If I see content where I feel like, oh, I really love this layout, I could see this layout being used a couple of times throughout my presentation. I can duplicate it again with the three dots and say duplicate that page. And I can do that as many times as I need to. I don't have to keep these two slides next to one another. I can simply click and drag and move that slide wherever I want it to be. And I also have the option of adding more pages. So if I wanted just a blank slide to do some just creation on my own, I can just click the blank slide button down here in my presentation to add whatever I needed to. The other thing that's really great about Canva is I can mix and match slides within different templates. So over here on the left-hand side, if I come up to, um, if I come up to design here, here again, these are my current layout slides that I'm working with. This is my color scheme, my template style. But here are all those other ones that were like more like this. And again, I can click into these to look at their different layouts. And if I find one where I feel like, oh, like I really like that particular layout here, I want to add that layout and incorporate it into my design, I just simply have to click the add button and it's going to add it at the end of my presentation. And again, I can move that wherever I want it to go. And I have this another layout that I can work with. Even if you choose something where the colors and the fonts are completely different, you can change all of that within Canva. So let's take this one for an example here. We'll add this into our slide. Oh, there it goes. It added where I was at. And now I like this layout, but the color's completely off, right? It doesn't match. I can change all of that. So I'm going to click back here. And we're going to do some fun editing. The first thing that I want to do is if we take a look at color, so every time I hover over an element, you'll notice that it will outline it. So each element here that has an outline can be adjusted and changed. Right now, the entire slide is highlighted. So my options for changing that entire slide are up here. So let's take a look at that background color. If I click on the background color, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want that pink background color. Canva is going to take a look at my entire slideshow and it's going to give me all of the colors that are currently being used in this slideshow. I love this feature because now I don't have to guess what the background color is on all these other slides, right? I don't have to be like, well, it's not quite white. It's something different. It's this little gray right here. And guess what? With one click, I can make that background the same background color as the rest of my slides. I don't have to guess what shade of gray that was. If I look at each element, so I selected this element here, there are different colors associated with this element, right? So if I click on the pink, I was like, okay, I want that to be that shade of blue. I can give that a change. If I wanted the text to be a different color, again, I could change that here. So everything can be adjusted. I'm going to come back and maybe let's come back here to color. And instead of this color, let's just make it a white background. Okay, so all I have to do is just simply keep selecting the different elements and changing the colors that match the rest of my design. So this is how, like I said, you don't worry so much about the colors of things because they're all really easily manipulated and changed. Same with text, okay? So if I look at my text across the board here and I select the text, this is telling me that the text here is DM Sands for my title. Well, if I want all of my titles to have DM Sands as its text, let's go to that other. We lost it. Let's come back to this one, I guess. So right now, this is Brendan Wright. If I come here and say, okay, I want that to be DM Sands. Now, I can also hit this button here for Change All. Change All is going to take all of the font that's currently Brendan Wright and change it to DM Sands across my slideshow. So you see it changed all of this text automatically. Again, I love this feature because if I want to make things more uniform across the board, instead of having to go into every single slide and select each font element to change it individually, the Change All feature is absolutely fantastic. So let's do that. Let's go opposite. So let's take DM Sands. I want to change all of those to Brendan Wright. Change all. Okay, so now all of that across the board has been changed. Easy peasy. I love it. All right, next up, let's take a look at looking at some of the different layout options, which I think is also a fantastic feature of Canva. So let's go to this one here. Notice right now I'm still over here in the design option, and we've been looking at templates so far. But I also have this option for layouts. Layouts is going to take a look at what's currently on my slide and give me other options for layouts. And not only will it give me other options for layouts, like so, it will change those options based off of what I type onto my slide. So see, even as I'm like typing and changing the text to college students, it's automatically updating within the layouts. So as I work through here, let's just keep that there. But let's take a look at maybe I want to switch this particular picture, right? I don't like this picture. So I'm going to delete that picture. And now I'm going to come over to the left again. I'm going to look at elements. With elements, this is where I can start searching for anything from just individual graphics to shapes to adding a poll or a quiz to adding a table, a graph, a video, audio clip, a chart. I mean, there's so many different elements that you can choose to add to your collection. It's just infinite. Now, I want a picture of college students, so I'm just simply going to use the search bar and I'm going to search college students to see what kinds of images might come up. This is where you're going to see one of the biggest differences between the free and the pro account. The free account is going to be fairly limited on the number of stock images and elements that are going to be available to you. So as you can see, like right away, all of these have the crown for the pro. Like the pro account, you will get much more or many more options for your graphics and your images and video and stock videos that you can use. But it doesn't mean that's the only thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just see the different photos to see if there's one of college students that might work. And this one will work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and insert. Now, once this picture is inserted, I can change my size, right? I can click on it. I can drag it around. The other thing that I like about Canva is, yes, I could have just, that plain rectangular picture. That's great. If I wanted to make it a smidge more fancy, I could come back to my elements. I'm going to search elements again and search for frames. So I could use one of these frames to just kind of zhuzh up my photos if I wanted to. And the way the frames work, very simple. So if I choose this frame here, I'm adding it to my design. I'm going to take my picture and I'm simply going to drag it into the frame. So you have to drag, the picture has to drag onto the frame. You can't drag a frame onto a picture. So, and then once I have that again, I can adjust size if I need to. With the picture itself, notice here, if I go into edit, there we go. It will bring up all of my photo options for editing. Again, this will show a big difference between pro and free. The pro account, there are many more photo editors, editing tools that you can use, especially like the background remover or the magic eraser. Those are really cool to use in the pro account, but they are not available for free. In the free account, you can do things like give your pictures a particular filter. You can also put different effects onto your picture if you need to. Okay. So there's some basic ones that you can use. Canva also has some apps that you can download to use within Canva that do some specific photo editing as well. And again, some are free and some are only available through the pro account. But those are kind of fun to play around with. All right. When we take a look at some of the other content and things here, you also have things like animation options that you can do with any of your elements, not just pictures. But for any of your elements, you can choose to do a lot of the standard animation options that we've become accustomed to using PowerPoint and slides. So just know that those are available here as well. Okay. And then we also have the option to, if you can't find a stock image for free in Canva, you can always upload your own images. So I can take images from our Photo Shelter account at UA if I want official images of our campus or our students and upload those to import and use as I need throughout my presentations as well. Just the only restriction on uploading, whether it's a picture, a video, or an audio file, is they cannot be more than 50 megabytes. So most images you're fine not hitting that, but when it comes to videos, if you have a long video, that can be tricky because typically they'll be higher than 50 megabytes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about saving and sharing. Right now, this is saved as the template name, the Blue Doodle project presentation. To change that, you just simply override. So if I wanted just to say a new name, I just override it and press enter. If I'm going to present this particular PowerPoint, I have some options. Down here, if I know that I need some notes, I can add notes to every single page within this PowerPoint if I need to. And then once I have notes added, I can go to present and presenter view, which would give me the option to have um, the two-screen version. So one screen would have my notes and one screen for the audience would just show my presentation. I can also record, present and record. So if I'm doing anything that's asynchronous, I can record myself. And when I click present and record, it will open the recording studio. And it has my picture there where I can start recording, or I can say, no, don't use that, and say no picture, where it just has my voice. So you can choose. And as you're recording, you have options to start and stop and do some editing along the way. If you are creating something that needs to just play on a continual loop, one thing you can do is do duration. So duration, right now, the default is 5 seconds per slide. You can extend that by simply dragging and dropping or dragging the slide out for however long you want it to be shown, or you can reduce it as well. So for every slide, you can be very specific. So once I have that duration set for each of my slides, I can then come up to present and then simply click on autoplay. And then that will enable my presentation just to play on a continuous loop using the times that I have designated. All right, let's take a look at the share options. So up here in the share button, I can collaborate with anyone, both inside of UA as well as outside of UA. So if I wanted to create something together with a group or another person, all I have to do is simply add their emails to the project that I want to collaborate with them. And then you can give them particular editing rights or commenting rights or viewing rights, depending on what access level you want to give them. And they do not need to have a Canva account in order to do this. So as long as they have the link that is generated for them, they will be able to edit or view even without a Canva account. All right, other ways that you can share. Obviously, you can just simply copy the link and send that out to students if you want them just to look at a finished presentation. The link would be just in view mode, so it wouldn't give them any editing rights. You have the option to download, and when you're downloading anything, you can choose, do you want to download this as PDFs? Do you want to download it as a PowerPoint, video, individual JPEGs? So you have options for your downloading. When you look at, there's that public view link right there. If you're creating something that you know you want to print, anything that's print with Canva is going to cost you money. So instead of doing that, instead I would simply download it as either like a JPEG or a PDF and then send that over to UA Printing. You can even send it directly into Microsoft PowerPoint if you'd like to do that and bypass the download step. But as you can see, if I click on see all, you also have embed links. You can simply save it directly into OneDrive or Google Drive. And then if you're creating something that is maybe a social media post, you can send it directly into that social media platform and link your account to Canva. So if I created an Instagram post, I can click directly, like share it directly to Instagram. It will prompt me to sign in, and then I can post it really seamlessly from here. So as you can see, as you scroll down, there are, and you can also say like see all, see less. There are a huge number of outside companies and tools that Canva basically has a partnership with and will work with really seamlessly. So it's really easy to take what you've created and share it in a multitude of different ways. All right, let's take a look back over at our home page again. So what happens after you've created something in Canva? Canva is going to save everything automatically. So even if you're finished or not, even if you just opened up a template to look at it, if it was in the design module, it's going to save it. And everything's going to save here on your home page. If you find something that you know that you don't need anymore and you're like, oh, I didn't mean to save that, clicking on the three dots up here gives you the option to move it to trash. So if you open something up and you're like, oh, I don't want that anymore, you can simply just click the three dots and move it over to trash. All right, let's take a look at a couple options if you're creating from scratch. So everything that we've done so far is starting from a template, but you do have the option to create from scratch, whether that's a presentation or a post or a flyer. You would simply choose the type of object that you want to create from the link, the quick links board here or from the more menu. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that Instagram post. Remember I said it's going to size it automatically for me. So this is my correct sizing. This is the area that I have to work with. And I'm just looking at that blank page, right? And I can make this look however I want to using my design tools over here on the far left. So typically, when I'm looking at designing, I might think about starting with a background color, especially for if I'm doing a social media post. You might have noticed before when I was looking at colors that I have this option here called Brand Kit. The brand kit itself is actually only a Canva Pro feature, except for one small element. And that small element is you can designate 3 colors to be part of your brand kit. And when you do that, these 3 colors will automatically always appear in your color palette options, no matter what you are creating. So what I did here is I simply took my 3 most popular UA colors that I use across the board, Crimson Flame, Pachyderm, and Chimes Gray, and I added those as my 3 colors allowed in my brand kit. And to do that, there is an option over here for brand. And typically all it's going to ask you for is you would just go to the UA branding site here and you have to copy the HTML code. And you'll have a space to paste in the HTML code. And then once you do that you choose what 3 colors you want to go with. And then those will stay here in your brand kit. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't want that. I want the Chimes Gray, I think, for my background. So I'm going to use my brand kit. I'm going to pretend that this is going to be for an Instagram post for the library. And I'm going to use some of the elements here to create this. All right. So one thing that I think I might want to do is I might want to add a border. Okay. And I'm going to take a look at the graphics. And and see if I can find a border. We'll try this one. We'll size it out so that it looks like it's fitting my page that I want it to fit. And again, with that border, I could choose a different color if I wanted to. I could make it a thinner weight of a line if I wanted to. And then next, I'm going to take a look at text. And there are some really great text templates that you can use. So let's see if I might find one here that fits maybe what I have thinking. Let's go with this one. Now, when you use a text template, you'll just simply double click on each of the text elements to make changes. So I'm going to say Big Al. And let's change this. Let's go. Study with, and then we'll put Big Al down here. Now, before I move off of this, I'm going to go ahead and change some of the coloring here. And let's go ahead and make this more crimson. Make this our crimson as well. Then I can move this up. I can increase the size if I feel like I need to increase the size to make it stand out a little bit more. So you can customize this all you want to make it fit your program. And then let's just go ahead and do just a regular text box. But I don't want that in cursive, so I'm going to change that font so that it's something easier to read. Say, this library. Actual date here, we'll do 3/7/25, and let's just say from 4 p.m. to 6. And then we, of course, you have all those options that we can adjust the size. It's a little bit big for that template, so we'll scooch that down. And then we'll take this whole element and maybe put it at the bottom. All right, so now I'm ready for a picture. So when I come over here to elements, there are some options. If you already have that, maybe a stock photo of Big Al, remember we can always do the uploads from Folder Shelter, or if you have one that you want to upload from a personal file, that's fine. If you are struggling a bit and you're like, I don't have that, but I want something kind of fun, we can come down to photos here to see all. And then we can use the search option. So I want to do elephant. And notice that they have an AI generator. Now, with the free account, you can only use an AI generator for images, I believe, 20 times. You basically get a few credits that you can use. So let's just see if I say elephant with books. I'm going to say generate. Oh, 50 credits, my mistake. So right here, say use one of 50 credits to go ahead and have the AI generate that image. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, let's see what it comes up with. Their AI generator for pictures isn't fabulous. If you're searching or having them create something fairly basic like this, typically you can get a fairly decent output. But just know, again, if you use another AI photo creator like Dolly, you can simply just download that and then upload it into Canva to use as an image without having to worry about using the Canva credits for AI generation. All right, so here are some of the pictures that they have come up with. And like I said, that depending on what kind of style you're looking for, it may work, it may not. But let's go ahead and go with that one, and we can resize that to put into our graphic. And of course, we also still have all those photo editing filters that we can apply that to as well. So if you have something already in mind for how you want something to be designed, know that you do have this option to design something from scratch. And instead of trying to filter through and sift through all of the different templates and modify them to fit your needs, um, there are a lot of great elements that you can work with in the design studio, whether it's photos, borders, stickers, audio files, videos, charts, tables, frames. Um, and really, all you have to do is just simply use the search box to search what you're looking for to see if it's available. All right. That, my friends, is our Canva workshop for today. If you have any questions about using Canva, um, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email at mhersberg@ua.edu. And I would be happy to set up a one-on-one meeting, whether in my office at Gorgas or we can do it via Zoom as well. If you are a person that likes to kind of explore on your own, clicking the question mark on the homepage and going to their help um, section right here, the help center, is also a really great place to get assistance. The Learn tab up here, you have access to all of their like design school tutorials and courses, and it really will walk you through how to do anything that you might have a question about in Canva. So if you want to just really work step by step, I highly recommend using the help section and going to learn and then going into the design school. But I appreciate everyone's time today, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.